Alright, people, so, apologies if you can hear, the fan. It is currently very, very hot. Why I say it's very, very hot. It's very humid. I am a British man. I can't handle it. So I'm just sort of, yeah, I've got a fan on pretty much all the time. But welcome to, I've played Zenless Zone Zero for 1 month. And here are my thoughts, because, you know, I have my thoughts. I'm basically just going to take the same formula I took with Wuthering Waves. I've got the exact same points, right here, and I'm just going to go through everything, because I did the review, and the review's really, like, you know, I feel like the review and then my personal thoughts are a little bit different in the sense that, like, for the review, we're talking about what's happened. And, you know, when we're talking about, like, actual, like, you know, my thoughts, I'm always going to be thinking about the future. So, just kind of think of it that way. So, yeah, let's just get into it. Let's start off with gameplay, because I feel like that's a big talking point. I feel like this is the thing that everyone either loves or hates about this game. And I understand. I get it. I really, really do. You know, I feel like the way that this game's set up, it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and I think that's perfectly fine. However, when I first played it, I was on the bandwagon of, I don't think I'm going to enjoy this game as, you know, as much as like a Wuthering or a Star Run. However, over time, I have actually come to really enjoy it. I've got a team that works for me, and a lot of the gameplay aspects are very fun. However, and this is where the nuance comes in, there is a level of, I don't think I could sit here and play this game for like 6-7 hours like I could with Wuthering Waves when that first came out. I mean, I can't even really do that with Wuthering Waves anymore, to be honest, because we can talk about Wuthering another time, because I do have some thoughts that I would like to discuss about that, but that's for another day. But yeah, I definitely think this is an incredibly casual game, and I think that's where a lot of people are missing the mark. A lot of people think that this game, because I think it's definitely because of Wuthering Waves. I think a lot of people are going to go, oh, because, you know, Wuthering Waves was like so combat heavy and this and that and yada yada from like the very get-go, that this game also needs to be, you know, very heavy and all of that. And I just don't think that's the case. Like, we're about to do combat right here, and I've said it since day one, and I mean this. I said in my review, yes, there are fighting game mechanics in the game, but what I meant by that is you're going to have to learn the game eventually, because otherwise if you don't, then you're gonna get absolutely swamped when we get to higher level stuff. Because, like, look, like, I'm level 40 at the moment. I have no idea what the future holds, and as a result, I can't say, oh, well, you'll be able to mash buttons forever. I mean, I'm starting to get to the point now where mashing buttons is starting to become less favorable, absolutely, but to say that we're at the point where a lot of, like, bigger mechanics and stuff need to be implemented right now, no. Unless you're a higher level than me, which in that case, you know what, fair play, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. You know, like, I haven't really done a lot of the Shield defense yet, which I know is going to be, like, the big stuff. But, in all honesty, I really do think that this game is as casual as they come. Oh! Ben's here! The TVs, I've already spoken about in depth. I hope we get more unique stuff going forward, because I like the TVs, but let's not make them the same thing every 2 seconds. That would be nice. I think the big thing, again, and I'm going to reiterate this a lot when it comes to especially the combat side of the gameplay, is it will get more difficult, but I feel like nobody, and again, I could be wrong, if somebody is at the point where they can start doing, like, the really hard stuff, like, you know, shield defense and all that, and do all of it, then feel free to say, no, you're completely wrong. That's like another side of the gameplay that I'm really a fan of. It's just like the goofiness of it all, you know? Like, I've said it, there's a lot of tongue-in-cheek elements, and I really like that, and I hope that they keep that stuff up, because that's a lot of fun. I think the thing that a lot of people are going to be sold on when it comes to this game is it's going to be less about the combat. And I think that's going to be something that we see a lot long term. It's less about the combat and more about getting you invested in these characters and selling you on these characters. And I said this from the get-go. I said this is going to be a very character-oriented game, a very character-driven game. And I don't think that that's going anywhere. I really don't. Do I think that there should be a better balance between combat and all of that? Not necessarily. I'm gonna just keep it as simple as humanly possible.
Come take a look.
I don't think that it has to be super, you know, combat heavy and whatnot. It really doesn't. You know, if we get to the point where it is combat heavy, then sweet, you know? Stuff for people to really sink their teeth into. Again, though, it's not the end of the world if it isn't. Do we need to do this today? No, but it's worth doing anyway, just in case we get some polychrome. Hey, there we go. All right, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it on camera. One pull, one pull to change it all. If I get the 5, okay. Okay, all right. So now we're going to get into the bit where, as you can see, I still haven't fully beaten it yet. The story. So, the story, it's interesting. Because, you know, I do like the story. But there is a lot that just I haven't really vibed with. If that makes sense. So, the story, I think, has been fine. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my god, it's groundbreaking, it's the best story I've ever played, because no, it's not the case, like, at all. It's had its moments. I loved Chapter 2, and I think that Chapter 2 was really good, and I've just oofed, and that's fun. I think Chapter 2 was really strong, and so far, Chapter 3 has been really good too. Chapter 1 isn't great, and that is probably just personal preference. Which, you know what, if that is the case, and that's, you know, that's up to me. I know a lot of people like Nekomata, I just do not, and we will get into that a little bit more when we get into character stuff. But I definitely think the story has promise. You can definitely tell they care a lot about the story, and they care a lot about, like, the small stuff. So, you know, well, I say the small stuff, and it's, like, the massive, like, corruption of the government with the vision and all of that, and, you know, those are the kind of things I'm super intrigued by. And I like the introduction of the factions. I don't know where the, like, when are we gonna hit, like, the massive plot point? Because right now it really is just vision, and whatnot, you know, like, corrupt governments, etc. Which is fine, that's completely fine, and that's a lot of fun as a story, but when are we going to hit that massive climax that's going to get people to continue? Maybe we get it in 1.1, maybe we get it in 1.2, I don't know. But I feel like that's the only thing that's really missing from the story right now, is that one big talking point that ties everything together. And there has been things, again, I do just want to reiterate, there have been, nice. There have been things. However, how many things, I don't know, you know? Like I said, I think the story, there's nothing, like, groundbreaking. It's fun, it's got comedic beats, and it's got serious moments. But I'm waiting for that one thing to really kind of hook me in. Because right now, the reason why I'm playing at the moment is the trust events. Because I'm a Persona 5 guy, so this is like confidants all over again. this ties us perfectly into characters, because I feel like, as I've said repeatedly, and I hate sounding like a bit of a broken record, but it is like the biggest point I can make, hello Ambi once again, is the characters are selling this game. But no, like I'm a really big fan of this style, right? Like, you know, like I definitely think that selling this game on the characters was the best move. Oh, I've got mail. Okay, sweet. You know, because the story's great. Well, you know, the story's great in the sense that there are good beats to it. Alright, I'm not gonna sit here and glaze the game. But I do think that the game, you know, the story does have good elements. Because of the characters. The characters are the thing that are absolutely hauling ass when it comes to this game. And it's as simple as that. Oh, we're gonna pet the cat? No, okay. You know, the characters are hauling ass for this game. And it shows. I do think that like I've said quite a few times, as the game goes on, more characters are gonna come in. People are gonna find their favorites. Right now, some of my favorite characters are like all of Belobog Heavy Industries and Ambi. It's like probably like my top 5. But potentially, you know, there could be more characters that come in the future that are better than them, in my opinion. I've still yet to find like that character. You know, like I know a lot of people are gonna say like, oh, like Chun-Li in Wuthering Waves, and to an extent, you would be correct. But I'm thinking more like the Alto, or like the Yuan Wu, or like the Sampo. Like that one character that I immediately saw and I was like, I don't care if they're like a 4-star or whatever, I'm gonna use this character. Like, I'm building up Alto on Wuthering Waves. I'm still waiting for that character that I want to use no matter what. And I think at the moment it's Ambi. For me, at least. I feel like Ambi's going to be one of those characters that regardless of how much she falls off, I'm still going to keep using her. Because I think she's a really cool character. And that is a testament to this game. And a testament to good writing. Is, can they sell me on characters that I know for a fact are going to get power crept eventually. I do definitely think that there are characters for everybody in this game. You know, you've got your women. You've got your stereotypical waifu characters. You've got ones for the, I'll just say, you've got ones for the furries, as well. So, you know, like, there's a bit of something for everybody. You've got the gremlin characters, you've got all of that stuff. So, you do have a little bit for everybody, and I think that's really, really cool. I'm still waiting to find that character for me. But I'm sure it will happen eventually. I think there's not really a lot to say when it comes to characters, except for there's something for everybody. I mean, even the NPCs look kind of cool. Well, I say kind of cool. A lot of them look really, really cool. Everything feels like it's designed in a way to get somebody to like one character. Like, everybody's going to have a favorite character right now. And I will say a lot of the newer characters coming out, so like Qingyi, Jane Doe, and like Seth, I think they're going to be cool. None of them are really my vibe. But, hey man, if any of them are good, I mean, I'm gonna try, and like, I know it's crazy, but until there's a character that I'm really interested in, I'm just gonna keep summoning for every 5-star, and just seeing where my luck takes me, because I think that's, like, funny. As weird as that sounds, I think it's funny as hell to do that. Alright, so now we get into my favorite part of games, and that is the grind and also leveling. They kind of work together in a sense. You know, the grind is often about leveling, and Zenless is weird. I've not felt like there is a grind yet, and that might just be because I'm a little bit behind the curve when it comes to this game. It might just be that. But right now, I've never felt like I've had to grind for longer than I've wanted to get to the point where I'm happy with, and to a point where I'm like, okay, I can confidently do the rest of the story or the side missions or whatever. I think right now the grind is fine. It will get annoying eventually when you have to build characters up all the way to like like level 80 or whatever the cap is, because I have no idea what the cap is, to be honest. Is it 80? Well, I can have a quick look, can't I? Let me have a quick little look.
Hey, don't look down on me.
The answer is, so it says 60 at the moment. Level cap race is 60, but that might just be because I'm not there yet. If that makes sense. But we'll see. We'll see. I definitely do think that the grind is fine for the moment. Obviously, that will spike up eventually because that's just what these games do. But for now, there's less to talk about than Wuthering Waves when it comes to the grind. Because with Wuthering Waves, it's like, well, you have to have echoes and this and that and all of that. And it's like, yeah, I need drive discs and I need W engines and I need to get my characters up to like certain levels. But right now, I'm at the stage where I only need one team. And like with Wuthering Waves, they kind of threw you into the deep end of like straight away, oh, you need like potentially 3 teams to get all of the content and you're like the maximum amount of asteroid and all of that. And like, obviously you still need 2 teams for this game for Shiyu Defense, but it feels like less of a necessity at the moment. I could just be crazy. People could say, no, you have to do Shiyu Defense and whatnot. I don't even know if you need 2 teams for Hollow Zero ever, because I don't think you do, personally, but I could be completely off the mark with that one. I don't know. But yeah, like, I think the grind's fine. Like, you're never gonna hear me complaining at the moment. You're never gonna see me say that I'm afraid of the grind of Zenless, because I'm not really feeling any sort of grind at the moment. But again, that could always change. And then we get into my hopes for 1.1, which is always like a big thing. One of my hopes for 1.1, they have listed a lot of things that they are going to be tweaking. Now, whether that is in 1.1 or not, I don't know. But Wuthering was in a very similar spot, and I know people can be like, stop comparing it to Wuthering Waves. I'm just using it as an example in the sense of both of these games are new. Like, they're relatively new. So, naturally, kind of the measuring stick for the moment is Wuthering Waves. And what they did in, going from 1.0 to 1.1. And that is they laid down the groundwork for change. I don't think we're going to see anything super crazy straight away. Nor do I expect there to be anything super crazy straight away. I think even if they just give us the ability to walk around, because they've said that they're planning on doing this, to walk around with not just Bell or Wise, I think that'll be enough. And if they tweak some of the things, like they said that they're going to make sure that, so like the chain attacks are going to make it so it's now optional and you can switch it off. There's going to be a lot of like quality of life things where it's just going to be, we're going to try and make the experience better for everybody. And I think that's brilliant. I think that is also going to lead to a lot of innovation when it comes to the combat and the way that people play the game, which is also a fantastic thing. A lot of people are saying right now, as I sit here, I'm literally just clicking buttons and I'm doing alright, like, and again, that's completely fine. I'm never going to sit here and say that is the wrong thing to do in a game, but I think a lot of people want a little bit more, and that's completely fine to want more. And the devs have clearly seen this, and now they're giving us the ability to do more with the gameplay and to customize the game to a point where each individual is happy. And I think that's all I really want. Because I could sit here and I could say, there's not been a limited 5-star that I've wanted, like, really, really badly. And that's not going to change in 1.1. But that's just me being picky. That's just then me giving my preferences on, like, I really am not seeing a lot of, like, characters that I want. Because right now I'm really only after copies of, like, Anton, Ben, Ambi. I want to miss my 50-50 and get either Grace or Kaleda. Like, at the moment, I have no incentive to summon except for copies. And I think that's fine for now. But in the future, that's actually going to allow me to save. And I think that's perfectly fine. I'd also just want to say, I think a lot of people are building Ben wrong. I'm just gonna say, I think a lot of people are building Ben wrong, but maybe that's just me being me. I don't know. As long as they're going down the road and they're starting to build foundations for change and building foundations that will grow into really, really cool things, then, you know, I don't really think there's much else we can necessarily say, you know? Like, it's still really early to say, oh, we need this and we need that, because we still don't fully know what the devs want this game to be long term. Like, they've said a lot of things, they've done a lot of things, and they're going to do a lot of things in 1.1. What they do in 1.1 will dictate the rest of the game. And to me, that is no different to a lot of these things. Oh, hello, Ben. There he is. Yo, let's go. Ben now. Oh, yo, Ben's in the room. He is in the room. I like doing these videos. I know they're just kind of me sitting there rambling. You know, just talking as things come into my head and whatnot, and yada yada yada, ramble, yap. But I do really like being able to just kind of sit down, just chill, and just kind of discuss everything, because, you know, I do definitely think that Zenless gets a lot of unnecessary flack when it comes to what they want and what the game is. I think a lot of people have expectations for the game that just aren't there, because they flat out said that this game is going to be a casual game, a game that you could not play for a few weeks and then come back and pick it up again. Now, obviously, that's not going to be the case. It's a gacha game. We're never going to get to the point where you can not play a gacha game for like 3 weeks and still be on the same level as everybody else. It's just not how it works. But what I think they mean is, like, the grind isn't as intensive, and that's a good thing in the long run. It's obvious that they're showing a lot of want to do more and want to make the game better based on fan feedback, which is always a plus in my book. So, 1 month into Zenless Zone Zero, am I going to keep playing? Yeah, I'm going to keep playing. I'm waiting for that one character that I'm just like, this is my character. Like Sampo and Topaz, like Alto and Shangli. I've just realized I really do have a type of character. God help me. I mean, I've kind of got it with Ambi in Zenless at the moment, but we have to wait for my 5-star character yet. But yeah, that was it. See ya.